Hello and welcome to episode 36 of the Sunday League Pundit Show with me, Stretch. On camera, you've got my very good friend Jim Jam, and off camera, you've got my very good friend Tin Ribs. How are we, boys?
Great.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. We have a TV in the corner of the room, and it is currently playing the national anthem for the England-Slovakia game. And we've decided we're that interested in the game, we're just going to record the podcast anyway, because we're sick of Southgate.
Yeah.
So we're going to start by the same as we always do. Do we have a Jim Jam, the stat man stat?
Got a couple things. So I'm going to talk. So obviously England are disappointing us, but there's another team with a St George's flag in there that have I'm kind of enjoying their football at the moment during this tournament. So that would be Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit about Georgia. So obviously their most capped player is still a player that is still playing for them right now with 116 games, which is Kurum Kashir.
116, yeah, that's a lot in it for your country.
Yeah. The top scorer has only got 26 goals of Ladza.
Okay.
He played for Rangers back in the day.
Didn't know that.
So as a country, they'd never qualified for a World Cup, and their best finish was third out of 5 teams in 2002. Otherwise, they're pretty much finishing first or second bottom. So not had the best times there. This is the first time we've ever been in a major Euros tournament. Their best ever appearance was 3 out of 6 teams, where they came third in 1996. And this time they qualified via the playoffs, finishing 4th out of a group of 5.
Wow.
It seems a bit mad that you can even qualify for the tournaments finishing 4th.
What I will say about that, though, is they said that they were extending it, the amount of teams that were in the competition. Yeah. And everyone was saying, weren't they, well, it's pointless, because the ones that aren't qualifying, they're not going to do anything anyway. Hello, Georgia. So it proves that actually it was worthwhile having more teams in it, because then them that don't qualify could potentially come and cause an upset. And I tell you what, they've played some good football as well.
I mean, I've said it before where, I mean, finishing 4th out of 5 teams in your group, you shouldn't really be in the playoffs, really.
You shouldn't, but there is a team that's finished 4th and shouldn't be going home.
Ukraine.
Because they have more points than a team that's gone through.
Yeah. So that kind of makes it crazy. Now, I'm kind of more on the lines that I'd love to see more clubs like this that have never been in an international tournament get through. Yeah. So, like, you know how the Nations League's got different leagues and it's kind of done by rankings. So I'd rather see a qualifying group that have got teams that have never played, like the bottom teams, you know, where you're throwing like San Marino, Liechtenstein,
Wales,
whatever.
Oh, no. Wales had the extra places and still failed to qualify.
Yeah, so it'd just be interested. I mean, they're ranked 74 in the world at the moment. The highest they've ever been is 1998 when they were 42 in the world. And 156 is the lowest they've been in 1994. 5 players have played in the Premier League for them.
I'm going to see how much research is done now. What's the lowest England have ever been?
I don't know, actually. I wasn't looking at
I can't
England.
believe you weren't expecting one of us to come up with a stupid question.
I don't want to. We're not talking about England. We're talking about Georgia right now.
Just curious.
So, one of the players you definitely heard of the most appearances in the Premier League, Georgia Kinkladze.
Great player.
Yeah.
Didn't they have Kavalashvili as well at the same time? He was a great player in all City.
Kavalashvili, yeah, he was at Man City. He only played 4 games, though, in the Premier League.
Did he actually? He was a great player as well, he was.
There's another player, Kishanashvili, very close. Similar spelling. He played for Blackburn, so maybe Darryl can tell us about him.
I vaguely remember. I don't remember a face or anything, but I vaguely remember it.
Tamori Katspire scored the most goals with 8 in the Premier League. We know him. And
didn't he destroy a hoarding as well at one point?
He certainly did.
He got really angry after he scored a goal and started booting his foot through a hoarding.
Yeah.
And the 5th one only played 2 games, and that was Akalazidze, who is Chelsea, 2 appearances. So that was a little bit about Georgia. I might do other teams if in the future they take a fancy too.
Oh wait, they're out.
I'd bet on that.
What, that Italy go out?
I'd bet that Switzerland and Germany would go through.
Yeah, it's not a hard one. Italy
Italy are garbage. They're absolute
they're in complete
garbage.
disarray. They've lost all the sort of legacy players. All their big names are pretty much gone. And they've just thrown kids at it, and it's like throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks.
What happened to Germany a couple of years ago when we've been running it? I will say for those listening, just in case we sort of get sidetracked or whatever, the game is literally just kicked off now with 13 seconds into it. And Slovakia have the ball and England haven't touched it yet.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the final one, which was the original stat one. So England are now joint record lowest scorers in a group. So Group C this time was with 7 joint records. So in 2016 there was Germany, Poland, Ukraine and Northern Ireland that only scored 7 goals in a group. So in the lowest ever, so 9 has also been in the groups as well. England have got the most appearances in the lowest scoring groups in Euros history,
so boring.
with 3 appearances. There's a lot of teams on 2, but England have managed to make that list 3 times, being the lowest
that seems a really
scoring group.
Good point to play the music. Episode 36 of the Sundayleague Pundit Show. 36 weeks of sitting here talking absolute nonsense. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. Should we start a bit different? Should we not talk about the Euros in this?
I was actually going to talk about some of the social media.
Good, as long as it's...
I was going to go on to some of the
Let's
social
not
media.
talk about the Euros in this first half. Let's start with other stuff.
I love the fact that let's not talk about the Euros whilst watching the Euros.
Yeah.
Social media. I'd like to point out that we get... we've had quite a lot of support on it. We've had a lot of people that just want to get involved, but we've had a lot of hate. I love the hate. The hate. The thing is when someone's being supportive, all you can say is, thanks very much, end of conversation. That's it. It goes nowhere. And if somebody's sort of trying to get involved in the conversation, it's normally 1 or 2, and then the conversation's finished. Now, when someone's hating on you, and you respond, they respond, you respond, they respond, you respond.
A little bit of traction.
And again, I've had another one turn around to me and go, why do you keep responding to me? And if you noticed, it's on Instagram. And I'm like, well, because when you started, we got 900 views. Now we're up to 11,000. Because every time you message me, it pushes this video back out into the ether. So the more people that hate us, the better, really.
Yeah.
Like... for those that do like us,
Great.
We're more than happy if you want to, press like and comment and subscribe to us and all the good stuff and help us out. That'd be great. But to be honest, the hate does just as well because it's really pushing us around.
I mean, with 11,000, I'm quite happy to have 2,000 of them views hating us and 9,000 liking us. That'd be a better scenario.
Definitely. I'm quite happy being hated by the odd few. We've got a guy on TikTok, right, that's constantly criticised. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? Because you've seen it. Yeah. We've got a guy that constantly criticises us on TikTok. Like, he's one of the first people to start following us. And he still follows us now.
Fantastic.
And he knows who he is. His name's Hunter. And I'll bet he listens to the whole thing as well. Because he's
favourites our video. He favourites it as well.
He adds them to favourites all the time, but then criticises us underneath. Your opinions are garbage. This is crap, and that's rubbish, and this is rubbish.
I love it.
Like, mate, you carry on. You carry on. You keep going. It's all good for me.
I mean, we got a Prince Andrew one the other day. I didn't quite get that.
Yeah. That was on YouTube, that was.
Yeah.
And it was, who'd have thought Prince Andrew's got an opinion on the England team? And I'm like, I wouldn't know, mate. I've never met him.
Yeah.
I was
really confused by that one.
Respond to that.
I would have responded, but you'd already responded, and I was like,
and I'm assuming what they're trying to say is that I look like Prince Andrew. Or I look like a kiddie fiddler, which is why they come up with Prince Andrew. I'm okay with it. If you're going to keep commenting, I really don't care.
Yeah.
So I'm all right with it.
But we're still going to keep going.
Well, we're still going to keep going because
it's for us more than...
We enjoy doing it for a start. I wanted to start a podcast. This is how it all started, because I wanted to start a podcast because I felt I'd got a lot of friends that I've known for a lot of years, you two included. We've just been through that. You 15 years and Tin Ribs, you 19 years. What a great save by Pickford.
didn't
He
quite
didn't
touch it.
touch it.
Oh, did he not?
He
It looked like the
missed
same
it.
because I only glanced at the screen.
Close though.
But Slovakia nearly scored. I've got a lot of friends that I've known a long time. You 15 years, Jim Jam. You 19 years, Tim Rich. And I barely saw you at all. It was really annoying. Like, we'd send messages and stuff, and memes, and the usual. And I'm like, I want to spend some time with these people. Like, they've been in my life a long time. And you two are the ones that I'd come to and said, "Will you start a podcast? I want one about football." You are the two that, like, you've got strong opinions, and we all support different teams. Tin Ribs, you've got very strong opinions, and are usually not afraid to voice your opinions. So we've started this podcast, and it's basically all about us spending time together.
Yeah.
So why would we stop doing that when we love each other's company? We love spending time together. We love talking about football. We get to sit and watch games together now, which we weren't doing before.
Yeah.
So anyone that's saying, "I'll give it up," like, honestly, we didn't think we'd get any views. We didn't think we'd get any subscribers. It was just a reason to spend time together, and it was just a reason to hang out, watch the football, talk about football, have a couple of drinks, albeit like we're virtually all teetotal. I mean, Jim Jam will go on a binge every now and then and go over to Ireland and think he's Irish for 2 days.
And pretty much turn his blood into alcohol.
Oh yeah, get absolutely annihilated for 2 days on Guinness, but then you come back here and you don't drink for a month. Like,
Yeah.
so
That's because his body's still like recovering. It's like,
it probably is,
Yeah, when I go on my diabetes review, I am the definition of binge drinking because they say, how many units of alcohol do you drink? And I'm like, well, I go like 4
Depends
weeks
when.
and not have any.
January to May, none. June, 1,000.
July, none.
Depending on which weekend you want to pick.
that's what I hate when like you fill in any form. Like I'm going to the dentist tomorrow morning. It's like they're there saying like, how many units of alcohol do you drink? It's like, well, I had 4 2 weeks ago, but that was like pretty much it for like a month. It's like I'll just spread them out.
Actually, a copper genuinely followed me into my work yard the other week. I don't know why. I don't know. All my lights were
Well,
working.
I've seen you drive,
I'm
and so I
taxed
probably
and
thought
I'm
you were
insured. Hadn't killed anything that day. I was doing quite well.
Was your front tyre low?
No, it was all fine.
Have you
But
seen him drive?
Yeah.
And he basically, all he said was, we just couldn't get a reading off your number plate, so we've had to follow you in because we couldn't double check your insurance and your tax and all that. I'm like, oh, okay. And he said, just for the record, how much have you had to drink? I'm like, well, is this actually a traffic stop then? Because I'm at work, like, I drive for. I'm about to get into a 44-ton truck. But I can assure you, I haven't had any. He went, oh, yeah, but how much do you drink? I'm like, I don't know. Last drink I had was probably 2 years ago. Honestly, they treated me then like a criminal. 2 years ago, I'm like, probably, yeah. I probably had one drink like about 2 years ago. I don't drink. Really, you don't drink?
Why do people find it so hard?
Why is it so
Yeah.
hard to believe that I don't drink alcohol? I just don't like it. I drive all the time. It's like today. I had to pick my son up on Friday. I had to drop him off today.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we did a barbecue. I had to go out and pick up this, that, and the other. I'm always the one that goes out and does stuff, so I'm driving all the time. So it makes sense not to drink anything, because I never know when I'm going to have to jump in the car. And I'd rather just not have any alcohol in my blood when I'm doing that. But no, people find it so difficult to believe when you turn around and you say, I don't drink.
See, if we went anywhere, I'd rather let you drive and I have
It's
a
like
drink.
a criminal offence. Yeah, see, that's the thing, because you do enjoy a drink when you're allowed one.
Yeah.
So if we do go anywhere, Jim Jam will say to me, oh, can you just, like, he'll either give me the keys to his car or he'll say, can you take your car or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, cool, no problem, because I really don't want to drink. And he does, so we're getting very sidetracked here, aren't we? Because I'm sure we were talking about the socials at one point. That was
amazing.
shot.
It was.
That was, he's right-footed as well, and he's just used his right foot to over
Ouch.
the stand.
Put into a rose.
Yeah, Trippier's just blasted it over.
So we'll go back
from,
to football, eh?
about 17 yards.
We'll go back to football. So there's an interesting thing going on, and it's actually today. I believe FFP kind of has deadlines today for a lot of clubs that are affected.
Yeah, they're all about trying to make sales in time, weren't they?
So there's a lot of questionable things. So I'll read a statement. So it's alleged that a letter has been sent out to all the teams in the Premier League, all 20, about transfers regarding FFP and moves that are linked to swaps.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of transfers going on that they're signing a player
with an exchange
with
involved.
and then the other team are buying a player for the same. So one of the alleged ones, so it's between Villa and Chelsea, and Villa and Everton have done it. So it's like there's a Tim Iron Buan that's gone to Everton, and Dobbin's gone to Villa, and that was 10.5 million. And then Kellyman has gone to Chelsea for 19 million, and then Matson has gone to Villa for 19 million. And apparently it's all to do with how it balances
Is it
the
basically all around
books.
getting around?
Yeah, it kind
Yeah.
of gives them a financial boost
So when
for
we
going
sold
into
Phillips,
this year.
when we sold Phillips, Man City did the same thing. We bought an Narby, but it was like the sale was 5 million, and they were saying like, is it a play trade? And it's like, no, it's a completely separate deal. But it was totally part of the deal. It's just it floats around financial fair play.
Yeah, because other clubs have kind of gone for it. So it looks like Newcastle have got to sell a player. So it looked like Anthony Gordon was going to go to Liverpool, but Quansah was supposed to go in the other direction. But Liverpool have said no because they don't want to lose Quansah.
To be fair,
I think,
I don't really see Anthony
and I
Gordon at
spoke
Liverpool. I think he's a
to
good player.
I spoke to Yove today and said, how do you feel about Gordon and Quansah? And he says, I wouldn't have liked that because he doesn't want to lose Quansah. So obviously Liverpool fans rate Quansah quite highly, and I'm not surprised because
decent defender, isn't
he looks like he's a future centre-back because Virgil's coming towards... He's only got a couple years left.
Well, didn't he do his... it was Salah that did his hamstring on it.
Yeah.
Well, Virgil van Dijk's not been the same since that Pickford injury, really, has he?
Not really.
No.
So I think he'd be happy with Anthony Gordon, but not losing Quansah, which is fine. And then it looks like Newcastle are trying to sell Minte, I think his name is, and he's gone to...
I actually don't know who that is.
No, because he signed for Newcastle a couple of years ago, and he's been on loan basically at Feyenoord last season, and I think Brighton are putting a bid in of 33 million for the guy.
What is it with values nowadays? Honestly, there's players that you've never heard of that barely play, and like you say, they've been on loan twice. How are they worth 33 million?
Dunno.
Like, they've barely kicked a bloody ball, and they haven't kicked a ball for the team that bought them in the first place.
This
And they wonder
referee
why.
is so yellow card happy.
Oh, we're on about the England-Slovakia game
He
now.
is just throwing yellow cards around like they're going out of fashion.
I mean, Slovakia look more likely to score than England do at this point. I will say that, and we're looking just as boring and toothless as ever.
Right. Anyway, as we were saying about transfers, something that's I'm really going to hate saying this because I hate the guy and everything he says is just pure garbage. But I was listening to Abon Lahore on TalkSport earlier.
Oh, crap.
I mean, Jesus Christ. I have met cereal with more brain cells than that guy. But he actually said something that I actually agree with. I mean, even broken clock's right twice a day, so...
There's two things there I never thought I'd hear.
Yeah. But they were on about these, like, Aston Villa having to sell Douglas Luiz. Newcastle are having to sell to meet final financial play. Now, final financial play is there to protect clubs from going bump.
Yeah.
Are you seriously telling me that two teams in the Premier League who have the richest owners and the fourth richest owners are ever going to go out of money?
I made this point a few weeks ago.
And it's just... He said, why are we bothering?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Well,
And
it's
like,
Villa. They're in the Champions League this year. They should be strengthening their side.
not weakening
and
it.
now they're weakening it going in. And I believe that Douglas Luiz transfer has gone through
has.
today for
They're saying it
42
has.
million.
That's what
Where's
the
he
whole...
gone?
Juventus. And
So
there's
Juventus
two
have got
players
stronger.
coming. There's two players coming from Juventus the other way.
Yeah.
Two we've never heard of.
You know what I mean? So Villa are obviously really trying to negotiate deals to get players in as
Without
well
spending.
Tell you
without
what, though, they
spending.
dodged a fucking bullet, didn't they? Because they were originally getting Weston McKennie.
Oh,
Yeah.
not the greatest player in the world.
No. So I think they dodged a bullet with that one. Apparently Tottenham were trying to buy him.
We
apparently-
were linked with him before
apparently-
he went to you.
Apparently, Tottenham are next in line to go for
Gray.
Archie Gray.
Yes, well, that is an interesting one about that whole transfer. So obviously, the original stance was that he wasn't for sale. Then all of a sudden, he's going down to Brentford for a medical for 40 million. Well, 35 up to
He was
40.
actually there, wasn't he, at the door?
Yeah.
Pretty much. All of a sudden, not for sale. No, deal's off. Don't know why. There's rumours. Daniel Farke has basically said, if you sell him, I'm going. Andy Gray has said, I will give up my ambassadorcy. You will not have me involved in the club anymore if you sell him. He doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
I actually don't agree with that, you know. Holding a club to ransom, I think, is disgusting. The manager, different story.
I think
It's the manager's
Yeah.
prerogative
But I
to
also
turn around
think-
and say, I want the players.
But Archie's already said he doesn't want to leave.
That's fine.
And
but
it feels like
Andy
The
Gray
board
has
have
got no right
said
to
we
jump
need
in.
some money.
Yeah, so fuck the two players off that everybody wants.
Yeah, but if nobody's bidding for him, you can't sell him, can you?
Now,
So
Well, yeah.
if he's the only one you're getting bids for, he's the one that's got to go. You've got to make financial fair
But again,
play,
this is-
or you're going to be points deducted again.
You know what?
And it's not like they don't mind screwing these over.
No,
so
they
let's
don't.
be
But
honest.
you know
you're gonna
what?
have to just
Looking
sell
at the
them.
league this season, I'll take the points deduction.
now, that was where I was going to go to. So,
take
like
the-
Newcastle,
That was confident.
now
I will take the
Newcastle.
points deduction.
Another yellow card, by the way.
So Newcastle said to us, was said, what's worth more, the 4 to 6 points that you lose for financial fair play, or keeping players like Anthony Gordon, Isak,
Yeah.
Callum Wilson, etc. Now, would you rather keep them players and hit a points deduction on the way? Because aren't them players going to get you 6 points this season?
Easy. Look at when Leeds went down to League One. We held on to a lot of our
Yeah,
players.
but then if you get to the end of the
15
season
point
and you miss out on
deduction.
Champions League by 2 points,
You might not have ever been near there without the players.
but you might have replaced him with a young player that's better.
It's a risk, though,
Yeah,
isn't
but
it?
when we
Of course
Well,
it's a
so
risk,
is the
but
points
so is the
deduction.
points.
yeah, but
You're taking a risk either
like
way.
I say, Leeds 15 point deduction after having a 10 point deduction in season 4 to get us relegated. We finished in the playoffs. If you've got the right players, that isn't going to make a difference.
I mean, Southampton had their points deduction, which was basically when we got relegated, it was if you stay up in the Championship, your points deduction will happen this season. But if you're relegated anyway, your points reduction will go into next season. So obviously we started League One with the points deduction because they wanted to hit us.
I mean, Leicester are
whichever
gonna start with
season
points
was gonna
deduction,
screw
aren't they?
Apparently
Well-
this is going to be harsh though because of them trying to juggle play the two leagues off each other.
I think it should be. Then it'll stop people doing it again in future. Won't
But in all fairness, if we decide we are not selling Archie Gray and we get 6 point deduction, but then we start playing the likes of Woba, Somerville, James, we're putting out a full strength team with some internationals. I mean, Woba, Austria won the division, their little group. I mean,
he played quite well.
in all fairness, I think he's still France's top goal scorer. Scored the own goal, didn't he? Sorry. But no, so at the end of the day, I think it's getting to the point where they're going to make the decision of we either just accept we've breached it and take the points, or we sell. And if people are that upset about it, might just be worth taking the points. I'll take the points. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I think it's just
I mean,
all become a bit of a farce, to be honest.
someone
with
said to me-
FFP and points deductions and this, that, and the other. I just think it's all a bit of a
Yeah.
joke now.
Well, I'm going to word it like this. Someone was on about like who the biggest threats to us are and who's our biggest contender. And I said, I don't think any of the three that have come down really offer that much of a threat. I'm going to word it like this. Sheffield United have just signed a player from us on free, or they're in the process of doing it, that under Bielsa couldn't make it into the team, under Jesse Marsh couldn't make it into the team, under the three interims couldn't make it into the team, and now under Farke was a bit part player, and yet Sheffield United are doing everything they can to get him.
I would like to say that Arsenal had a player that 3 managers he couldn't get into the team. He then got best goalkeeper and won the World Cup.
Yeah.
So that doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad
As
player.
much as I love Jamie Shackleton, he's not that good.
As a silver player, he was pretty good on FIFA a few years ago. When I had a silver team,
Yeah,
he was rapid.
yeah, nice little silver player. He's
That's not done, mate.
he's like Stuart Dallas off Wish.
Wow.
Some players you just know off FIFA.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't play FIFA, but
Jamie Shackleton's been one of those players that because he came through the Leeds Academy and he always was there and around. People knew him, but he's never fulfilled the potential. And he's gone to Sheffield United and they've literally bent over backwards to get him. If that's their aspirations...
I hope he gets player of the season next year.
He ain't shit.
I hope he gets player of the season. And I hope he scores a hat-trick against Sheffield. And celebrates every single one.
Yeah.
Like he's just won the lottery.
So as we're on Leeds, any more transfer activity over the week?
So there's been loads of little links and stuff.
Rojo. Is it Rojo? Rocco? Mark?
He's gone.
He's gone.
You've sold
We knew that
somebody,
one was going. The one that's... So Llorente's still... Basically, they're just trying to get him for like 2.3 million. The original asking price was 5, and they're just pleading poverty. They're just pleading poverty. It's a player who's paid 17 million for, and I think he's played 2 seasons.
How many games has he played though?
He played a big part for us in the Premier League, but yeah.
Oh, he got relegated. That was nice. Yeah. Come, get us relegated, leave. Brilliant.
But no, he's looking pretty much that's done and dusted. We just want him off the books, get the money gone. There's a lot of rumours that Christensen is still up in the air. We don't know what's happening with him. Wober, we won't know till after the Euros.
Do you want to keep Christensen?
He had glimmers of being a good player, and I think in the Championship he'd probably be a rock, but I don't know where I'd fit him. I don't know where he fits in. On the upside, Burnley apparently have just signed a right back, so happy days. That gives us a good shot at Connor Roberts. Then there's a rumour, well, hardly a rumour, it's pretty much looking like it's going to be a set and done. Toulouse are looking at Richie Cresswell.
All right.
Sorry, Charlie Cresswell. What did I say, Richie? Yeah, Charlie Cresswell.
I think there is a Richie Cresswell, wasn't there?
I think there is. Yeah, he's out striker, isn't he? He used to play for but Charlie Cresswell, last season everyone saw him as going to be like the next big centre back for us. And then all of a sudden he just went from being given the number 4 shirt to nothing. Just not even getting the team, not on the bench. I think he's got a bad attitude, or his attitude is that he should be starting. He feels like do you know what I mean? He feels a bit he's above station. And Farke seems to be the kind of manager that if you're going to go against him, he's just going to, all right, piss off.
A bit like Arteta's been doing then.
Yeah. So apparently he's going to Toulouse. So that's looking like it's done. So, but yeah, other than that, there's not been really much. A lot of mooted stuff. Rumour this, rumour that, but nothing major. Obviously, the Archie Gray one came straight out of nowhere.
Yeah, you weren't very happy yesterday.
Yeah, you definitely weren't happy when it was looking like it was going to go through, because you made that crystal clear that you
of
weren't
all
happy
the
about
clubs, Brentford.
Well, I mean, Premier League, isn't it? Whatever way you want to look at it, it's Premier League, and Brentford are not a bad side. Albeit they've got issues with gambling.
I just feel like
they're not a bad side, are they? Let's be honest.
I feel that Brentford's best asset is their manager.
Yeah, I'd have quite liked him as Southampton manager if it would have materialised.
I still see him taking over one of the big 6 at some point.
Maybe. Because let's face it, Ten Hag's not going to last forever, is he? Because that was in and in this year. And Chelsea generally will get rid of people left, right and centre, so he could end up at Chelsea at some point. Tottenham get 3 managers like I get 3 socks, so it could be that one as well. So yeah, I mean, it could be it could definitely take over one of the big. I don't see it being sort of City, Arsenal, Liverpool. No. But yeah, certainly one of the others is a possibility. I think Tottenham, the fans are absolutely loving Postecoglou at the minute, aren't they? Because they like the fact that it's slightly more attacking football than they've seen in the last.
He's a great coach.
15 years. Do you know what I mean?
To be fair, I quite like listening to him to on commentary.
I like Postecoglou.
I quite like.
He's a great coach.
Here we go. Slovakia through. Goal,
and they've scored.
Because
England are
garbage.
The worst set-up team I've ever seen in my life. So we're currently losing after 24 in the 25th minute.
You know what?
1-0
If we
down to
lose,
Slovakia.
I couldn't give a shit as long as we sack Southgate immediately after. I want it to be England out, Southgate sacked. Boom.
To be fair, it's only the 25th minute, so we've got time to get another manager in the dressing room now at half time. Just sack him at half time.
Give Mike Bassett a call.
It's embarrassing.
So Southampton's transfers this week. So we're looking at 2 free transfers, which I quite like the idea of both of them. So one's Bobby Reid from Fulham.
Good player.
That's a great
Very good player.
And Charlie Taylor from Burnley. Left back.
It's not bad.
Excellent lad. He's excellent.
He's a decent player, isn't he?
2 players with experience on free
brilliant.
transfers. I think that's
good business.
We're also looking at Charlie Taylor, but I think he'll go somewhere else. I don't think we'll take him back.
I think he'll probably go to Saints.
I think it looks pretty set them two, hopefully. And then, unfortunately, one of the players blinked out, which is getting a bit of thing, Kyle Walker-Peters.
Yeah,
to West Ham.
And you know what's interesting? There was they're saying Downs going the other way.
Yeah,
that's not looking like it's happening now. It's looking like Downs is going to stay there where he is.
Maybe because of this whole Paqueta thing and Alcaraz potentially leaving as well to go.
I think that's a double blow for you, to be honest. You're losing a very good player, and then you're not going to get one of your better performers, and it's just going to be it's essentially like losing 2 players.
Yeah, I mean, if it brings in Downs, but I don't want to see just Downs. I want to see Ings as well.
Yeah.
And I think if Downs and Ings came one way and Kyle Walker-Peters went the other, I don't think that'd be too bad business for a player in his last year of a contract. No. And I don't think he's going to sign a new one. So this is the only time where we can sell him for anything. Mm. If Downs isn't part of the deal, I think he's going to cost a bit.
But if they're going to sell him. But that's what I'm saying. For me, the fact that from all the things I'm reading, Downs is no longer a part of the deal. There doesn't seem to be anything in it for Downs to go to Southampton. You've effectively lost 2 players rather than lost 1. Does that make sense?
Mm. Yeah, we really want Downs. He really does play Martin's style of football, but we'll see in the coming weeks whether or not anything happens there. Other than that, not really a lot going on with Southampton on the transfer front.
Well, I would say that's probably a good time to go to break then, as we're at the half-hour mark, and we don't often stop at a half-hour. We normally go way over.
Blast through it.
We've hit 30 minutes, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to break, and we shall see you lovely, lovely people. Hello, and welcome back to the second part of episode 36 of the Sunday League Pundit Show. You still have myself, Stretch, my good friend Jim Jam, and my good friend Tin Ribs. We have had quite a long break this time because we finished watching the last 20 minutes of the first half, England v Slovakia, and
we're making the right decision.
Yeah, we wish we hadn't. We're actually not that disappointed. We've decided to go ahead and record the podcast whilst the game is on, because we'd probably have fallen asleep during the game and then wouldn't have recorded the podcast.
I'm just disappointed we stopped to watch the end of that shit.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I am as well, because that was absolute garbage, wasn't it? I mean, they've got...
Now, Yov is watching the game. I know he's watching the game with his brother.
That's unfortunate.
And he's just messaged me going, so bad.
I think that's pretty accurate.
And when we went to the park today, he said to us that he would rather go out now, Southgate disappear, because he doesn't want to watch another 90 minutes of England again this tournament.
I mean, I can't really disagree with anything he's saying, because there's nothing to get excited about. There's nothing to be happy about. There's nothing to be proud of. As a nation, this is giving us nothing.
This is where I was 6 years ago, so I'm already long gone.
Yeah, but we were in the same spot. As soon as we got beat by Croatia, I went, he hasn't got what it takes in the big games. He needs to go.
Yep.
That was Croatia.
That's where I've been. I just don't think he's the right man. But they keep plugging him. They keep backing him. And it's just horrendous.
I did say something before the pod, didn't I? And I said to you, will Southgate make 100 games as England manager?
No,
This is
Doesn't
number
look like
99,
it.
apparently. England v Slovakia is Gareth Southgate's 99th game in charge, and it's only about 90 games too many. He should have probably gone after about the 9th or 10th. And I've run out of disparaging things to say about the team and the manager and
We've known it for
the
years.
lack of tactics and the lack of guidance and the lack of knowledge. There's nothing. It's so bad. I mean, Yo's got it right, hasn't he? It's so bad.
So obviously, I still get into it. I do want England to win and do well, just without Southgate. And today's England shirt, because I'm wearing my England shirt. England are playing, so I've stuck on my England shirt.
Yep.
It's from 10 years ago. It's pre-Southgate.
Yeah, I'm
It's
rocking
with
my
last
England
year.
shirt as well.
Well,
Oh, no,
we had.
I'm not wearing an England shirt. I'm still wearing an Arsenal shirt because I can't get into this England team. I can't do it. I didn't wear an England shirt last tournament. I haven't won one this tournament. I've barely watched a kick of the ball this tournament because I was so uninspired and unexcited about what was going to happen.
As you can probably tell, I'm from earlier on than the start. I'm probably more interested to see what fight Georgia put up against Spain.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually going to stay up.
Yeah,
I'm up at midnight for work, so it's probably not a good idea. But I'm going to stay up and watch the game later on. Because it looks like it's going to be a decent game. My issue is we had an interview once where, I say once, it actually was only a couple of days ago, where Southgate sat there, right? And Southgate said, I can't think of many other nations that would top their group and still get that reception from their fans. We only topped the group because Denmark are shit. It was nothing to do with England being good. Because Denmark are garbage.
Yeah.
Oh, guess what? We didn't beat them.
No.
We didn't beat them, even though they're shite. Slovakia, hardly a world footballing powerhouse, are they?
And they're making us look
But
very
they are
shit.
battering us.
Well,
I know it's only 1-0, and I get that, right? But the amount of chances they've had. Pickford flailed earlier on, and the ball just went past him and could have gone in easily. But it got cleared at the back by Trippier. Honestly, it's been embarrassing. Isn't bad enough to describe how bad this team is under Southgate. And I will say it for the last time, we have the best attack in world football. And they are this shit.
Right now, I don't believe you.
It's embarrassing.
We have a serial Golden Boot winner in different tournament, Well, yeah, hell, he's won Golden Boots at national level. And
FA
it
Cup,
comes.
League Cup, Premier League, Germany.
Yeah, Bundesliga. Won it in, was it the Euros? Or the World
Oh, he's
Cup?
got it in the World
yeah,
Cup
so
before.
Yeah. So he's a serial winner of the Golden Boot. And we've
scored
one in
goal
4 games.
In 4 games. But then, to be fair, Bellingham doesn't create many goals or score many goals. He does loads.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good job. Saka doesn't really create or score any. Oh, no, he just get involved in loads as well. Oh, Foden shit, though. Oh, no, he's one of the best players in the Premier League as well. Probably one of the best players in Europe. But you wouldn't know it. So
No.
watch this England side. I don't understand how anybody at the FA, albeit most of them are probably 90 and have trouble getting out of bed to piss. I don't understand how any of them can look at this team over the last 8 years and go, Southgate's our man. I think we will win somewhat under Southgate. No, I mean, we will win somewhat under Southgate, but it's likely to be a wooden spoon. I mean, we're not even going to win any Golden Boot awards anymore, or like the award that you said to us before. We're what 10 times we've been in the lowest scoring teams or something, or whatever.
No, 3 times we've been in the lowest scoring
bad
group
enough,
at the
isn't it?
Euros.
We're England. We've had Alan
Yeah.
Shearer.
So
We've
basically,
had Ian Wright. We've had Teddy Sheringham. The Cole, Andy Cole.
well, the other
Michael
years
Owen.
were 1980 and 1992.
Well,
I never said that
1992
on
we had
the
Gary
earlier
Lineker.
one. So,
Do you know what I mean? We've had some absolutely amazing strikers. And you can't tell me, as much as I slag Harry Kane off because he's ex-Tottenham, you can't tell me he's bad at what he does. So why
It's
is
just-
he so shit when he's in an England shirt? It's got to be the manager and the tactics. It
Yes.
has to be. Why does Foden look so shy? Why does Saka look terrible? Why does Bellingham look terrible? Why does Rice look like he's barely kicks a ball? Why does Mainu? Everyone's calling for Mainu. He's looked like me in the second half. I'm 43, right? And for those that aren't looking on YouTube, you've pointed it out a few times. Those that are not, I'm massively overweight. I'm 43, and I could have played better football than every single one of these England
Do you
players.
think
that's
it's
currently on the
because
pitch.
we don't need Rice and Mainu playing in the positions that they're playing?
I don't think we need the position that they're playing in because they're
I
both
honestly
DMs.
think-
I think Bellingham and Rice should just both be central midfielders, with Bellingham allowed to push forward, and Palmer ahead of them, Saka on the right, Gordon on the left, and Kane up front.
I think I know where it is.
Southgate.
So, well, it is Southgate, but this is why. So, Southgate plays a
Boring football.
4-2-3-1. Okay. Yeah, it's good. Hang on. Right. 4-2-3-1 was sort of like the moment we moved away from the 90s of 4-4-2.
4-4-2, the
Right.
English way of football.
But hear me out. Right. So Southgate is currently stuck in the middle between the 90s and where football is now. So all these players are used to playing the new game, the modern game.
Yeah.
Southgate is 10 years behind. So he's playing tactics 10 years out of date, 10 years stale, and he's playing it to a generation who are used to something completely different. And that's why they're struggling, because they can't play that type of football. They're not designed for it. This is the football that Lampard, Gerrard, Beckham, Wayne Rooney, they're the players from this style of play. They suited this style of play. Beckham wasn't ripping defences to pieces and skinning them, crossing the ball in. No. You get the ball, he takes a touch, swing a beauty in. That's what this football is designed for. Not two fast wingers, a target man, and that's where the problem is.
I just think Southgate just needs... I mean, he just needs a rocket up his arse, doesn't he? I get why they like him, because of his media handling. And don't get me wrong, I do think he's really good at the way he's handled the media. And I think he's really good at the way he's handled the questions. Oh, England have got a chance here. Is he offside? Phil Foden's just scored because he was playing centre forward as opposed to the left wing where he's meant to be playing. And he scored a goal. But he did look like he was offside, actually. So I guess we'll have to wait and see whether they're going to check that out.
I'm going it's offside, but I think they've give it.
For me, he looked offside there. But anyway, it's boring football.
No, scrubbed.
What? Scrubbed.
He's offside.
Yeah, I mean, I said
there
that
you
straight
go.
away. He looked like he was offside.
Mate, they take ages to get the...
Well, it
I mean,
doesn't
we're
surprise
watching
me.
it now. It obviously comes through.
He's
He
ahead.
looks very offside.
I said as soon as he played the ball over, I said he looks offside.
I was just amazed they took so long to
I'm not.
give it. But it's promising. I'm just a bit pissed because obviously I got Foden in my dream team. So
Well, maybe they should play him centre forward because that's where he was stood. Harry Kane was still on the edge of the box.
yeah.
You
And
know
on
what the
6-yard
worst part
box.
is about that disallowed goal, though? Trippier's set it up, and I feel that this game needs a change, and Trippier coming off is one of them changes I want to make, and I worry that Southgate will now see that and go, oh, I'm going to keep him on because he's just set up.
I'm not sure.
chance.
I'm not sure. I agree that Trippier needs to come
I
off.
think Trippier's been one of the better
I think
players.
Foden needs to come off because Gordon needs to play. I think Bellingham needs to come off because Palmer needs to come on. And I think Kane needs to come off because he's done nothing for 4 games, let's be honest. Not really.
We can't carry on with 4 at the back. We need more
So
people.
let's just have...
I do think the 3 at the back is the way forward for England. We just have that sort of need to go forward. And
Yeah, but
I'm
we
going
don't when Southgate's in charge.
Again,
deflect
like I say,
shot
I
by
mean,
Kane.
that's close.
like I say, when we were talking about tactics, Southgate's just too far behind. He's not on the same level as these new coaches. These new coaches have got new ways, new fast pace, ways to utilise these players that Southgate hasn't got a clue.
But he's the highest paid, so surely he's best. The best get paid the most, don't we?
have you ever worked in any business that's making billions? Because usually, the higher you go up, the less they do. The more incompetent they are, the more they earn. That's just business.
Pretty much. Because they come straight out of business school, go straight to the top. They've never been at the bottom, but they make decisions that the little guy has to stick to, and generally they haven't got a clue what they're doing because
And
they've
9
never
times
done
out of
the
10, the
job.
little person just looks at them and goes, "Oh,
My
you
issue
want
is
smack."
My issue is Southgate's done the job. So he should understand what this is about. He should understand that you don't need 6 defensive players when you're playing Slovakia.
But again, remember what I said? Tactics from the bridge between 90s and 2000. When did Southgate play? 96.
It's just...
He's out of touch.
Embarrassing.
He's out of touch.
He's very out of touch. Very out of touch.
So the game yesterday, the Germany game, so he made an interesting point, the commentators, Ali McCoyson, Tidesdale was it, who's
I love Ali
done his
McCoy.
last. And basically they turned around and said they just need to get the handball rule, rip it up and throw it in the bin and start again, because they've made it far too annoying.
Do you remember it used to be just simply
Hit your
intentional,
handball.
non-intentional?
Yeah, I mean, they've made it to the point now where nobody actually understands the handball rule.
And
I don't think the people that have written the handball rule really don't understand what they've done to it.
There's a few things that are obviously irritating me in the tournament. We've got
England.
Danny Murphy,
Well,
England, Uncle, and Stickometer.
right.
How annoying is a stickometer? You don't need that to say, oh, it's hit his hand or not. You can see it.
Yeah.
What are we, cricket?
For me, when you've got VAR, you shouldn't need that. It's just shocking.
And then you've got her talking about it, going, oh, it's hit his hand. I know, we can see it on the screen. We don't need you telling us.
Yeah, and I know we're meant to be a progressive nation, but shouldn't she be called anti?
Yeah. Well, the other thing, though, the English VAR, yesterday's game, I thought they did well. Wow.
Nearly got
I thought
lobbed
they
from
did
halfway
quite
line.
well. I thought Oliver made his decision. They
That was
stuck with it.
embarrassing. That's what you were saying the other day.
Why is Pickford up there?
No,
Yeah.
Pickford wasn't at that far up, but why are you passing it 2 yards on a free kick on the halfway line? Why don't you just get it up there? Just let them fight for it
Yeah.
instead. It's in about. I'm getting really annoyed with it.
Yeah.
It's just the sooner they go out, the better, and then I don't have to worry about
So
it.
they were pretty quick. So there was obviously an offside goal for Denmark first, and yeah, he was offside, but how close is it though? That offside?
it's
It was
crazy, isn't it?
toe.
Literally his toe.
Yeah.
It's like his shoelace in it that was offside, and it just.
I mean, obviously, he is offside by the rules of the game. He's offside. It's the semi-automated.
Yeah, but is he
So
though?
there's no.
Because the rules of the game state the offside's there to prevent an unfair advantage.
You're really not. As a striker, you've got no advantage whatsoever. You to play it safe now, you pretty much got to make sure that you're a good foot inside.
Maybe even more than that.
I mean,
gonna ask
some
you a
of the
question.
top players should be able to do that as
Answer
well.
yes.
I mean, yes is a good answer.
Okay.
Do you think that what they've done is they've overcomplicated the rule system?
Absolutely.
My answer was right.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm going to stick
No,
with
I
it.
agree. But what I mean is, it's like, let's go with 20 years ago. The rules were so much simpler. It was still very black and white, and it was very much simpler. And I feel like they've overcomplicated the rules in order to sort of, I don't know, enhance the game somehow. But all it's done is overcomplicated it, convoluted it, and made it just a shit show.
There are some of them that have worked, you know. Right, I'll give you an example. I remember when I was in school, I was a keeper in school.
Yeah.
And they changed the rules whilst I was in school to stop time wasting. Keeper was no longer allowed to pick the ball up with his hands from a back pass.
Yeah.
Great rule.
Yeah,
Great
because
rule.
that was the
I
whole
thought-
Denmark once at 92.
Yeah, that
Was
was
it?
embarrassing. I thought it was a great rule change. I quite liked it. It made the game a bit faster, a bit less boring at the end of the game. because otherwise the keeper would roll it out to the right back. He'd tap it back to the keeper, pick it up, roll it back out. It was so dull. I thought it was a great rule change. Right, now technology, goal line technology, I think has been immense. One error I can think of since it came in.
Yep.
You just can't fault that. If we'd had one VAR error in the last 3 years, nobody would even mention VAR.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a talking point.
No, but again, that's rule additions. They're new rules, and they're additions to what I'm referring to as changes. It's like the offside rule, the handball rule. That they've modified, adapted, and adjusted and overcomplicated to the point now where, like you said, I don't even think half the footballers know what the handball rule is. It's like the one the other day where the goal, it's hit him in the face, gone down to his hand, which is within his silhouette. I've always heard that in silhouette. It's not in an unnatural position. He's falling and it's in front of him. It's hit his hand and gone in, so it's not a goal. Anywhere else on the pitch, it's not a handball.
No. And I would like to say, even in the area, that it's written in the rule that if it bounces off another body part and hits your hand, it's not a handball.
I know. But this is my point.
No, but if you're
But it's
defending,
a goal. Yeah,
No,
if you're attacking,
if you're attacking and the ball flies across and you lift your thigh and it bounces off your thigh and hits your hand, it's not meant to be a handball. Because in the rules it states if it comes off another body part and inadvertently hits your hand, it's not a handball.
yeah, but now if it hits your hand and that player scores, it's not a goal because it's hit the hand.
Yeah,
But there's no reason for that, though.
No, but this is the point. It's the
isn't it?
overconvolution of the rule. It should just be simply, if it hits your hand intentionally, handball. If it hits your hand in an unnatural position, handball.
It should go back to what it was.
Simple as that.
If your hand hits the ball, it's handball. Ball to hand is ball to hand.
Yeah.
And it should just be, and it was dead simple back then.
Because I think that Denmark player, I think his body is actually in a natural position.
Sod all
I
to
know
do with
his
that.
arms
How
out
close
because
was he?
he's.
How close was he? It doesn't matter whether it was unnatural or not. He's 2 yards away from him.
Well,
how are you meant to move your hand out the way in 2 yards?
I was kind of interested to see what Uncle's stupid comment was going to be because, unfortunately, as she was in the middle of speaking, Oliver had already been to the screen and give the penalty. So then she was obviously explaining the rules that we already know.
Was her tactic to put 2 number 10s on the pitch, push one forward, and then have one drop, just like a 9 and a 10?
No, you're talking about Eni Anuku.
Not
the ref watch.
I'm not
just
a fan
find-
of Eni Aluko.
Oh, she's useless.
I will
She's
say I'm not a fan of
absolute-
Eni Aluko.
And then, you know what annoys me on that whole thing? Whenever there's
Everything.
criticism towards her, immediately anyone who wants to defend her jumps straight on the racist comment. And it's like,
it's
no
because
one has
she's a
brought
fucking idiot.
Absolutely.
It's
and this is what
nothing to
annoys
do
me.
with the colour of
It's
her
like-
skin. It's because she's
It's like
a dickhead.
to defend her, they have to jump through hoops to find a reason to defend her. At the end of the day, she should not be commentating. She's not
I agree.
capable. She's complete. It's worse than Gabby Agbonlahor. She is worse.
I mean, that's borderline, really, because they're both as bad as each other.
No, I'd say she's worse.
I mean, at least Gabby Agbonlahor has some sort of opinion. I mean, it's always wrong, but at least he can defend it. At least he knows what he's talking about, you know. I mean, he's with O'Hara as well, who's just an idiot. And they put them pair on radio together, don't they? Gabby and Jamie O'Hara.
My issue with them two is like, if you didn't really know a lot about football and you turned on TalkSport and you listened to O'Hara and Agbonlahor, you would genuinely think all footballers are fucking idiots. You play football because you've literally never picked up a pen in your life, let alone been to school and learnt anything.
I mean, I'm
You've
sticking
learnt
Danny
nothing.
Murphy in that category as well. He's really irritating me, this.
I mean, at least he talks like a human being, though. I mean, at least he comes out with actual words. Agbonlahor and O'Hara, they just make you.
He's a bit boring, though.
I mean, he is boring. So Southgate, but at least his words
There's a
are
difference between
full.
someone who's boring and someone who actually has no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like Agbonlahor come out a couple of months ago and said something about not learning another language. We fucking know you haven't learned English. Because there's no chance you've learned another language. You didn't have to explain that to anybody. We're fucking well aware of it.
But yeah, it's sad that we're getting people who are supposed to be giving punditry and like analytics, and they just haven't got a clue.
But and it doesn't matter what race or gender or anything, because all of them that know the stuff, they know the stuff. There's females on the show that I like watching.
Well, we've just mentioned Jamie O'Hara. The guy's an absolute tool and knows nothing about football. It's not because he's white, it's because he's a moron.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the fact that he's white. He's just a moron.
Because you've got the other on ITV, haven't you? The other girl that's on there as well who knows the stuff.
Which one? Because I quite like listening to some of the women. Some of the women genuinely know what they're on about.
I think she's the ex-England player.
Are you on
Not
about Jill?
Alex Scott. Not Jill, but I do like Jill Scott.
Jill Scott.
I like Jill Scott.
Yeah.
I like Alex Scott.
Yeah, I like
and there's
that.
another one.
Wood, what's her name?
Laura Wood. Brilliant presenter.
Yeah, she's good.
I like Laura Wood.
Oh, someone's injured. Oh, Trippier. Oh, there you go. You might get lucky.
You might get lucky. Anyway, I'm bored of talking about
actually,
this.
that looked quite painful, to be fair to him. That didn't look
I'm
very
bored
nice.
of talking to those idiots.
Ooh.
It's just...
that looked like a bad tackle. 62nd minute.
I mean, can we just say that when it comes to stealing a living, those lot are the Onana of commentary?
Yeah, I mean, I feel a little bit sorry for Onana. He's made some proper howlers, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, that defence in front of it, it's like having 4 Pennywise in front of you, and it's just disgraceful.
You know what's funny? I don't know if I actually mentioned this before, but the Premier League did the best.
That doesn't look
saves.
any better, mate. Any time I look at that, it doesn't look any nicer.
They did like a top saves of the Premier League. And you know when they say some people only get like highlighted because of who they play for? I watched it, and they put 2 Becker got saves in there.
Yeah.
The first one, on the technical side of it, was horrendous. He makes an absolute meal of a fairly routine save, lands on his arse, and as the ball bounces in front of him, completely uncontested, flaps at it and puts it out for a corner. He could have got up, dusted himself off, and picked the ball up, but he flapped at it. And then he made a really routine save next. Then Onana, one save was decent. There was others I think he made where even I went, bloody hell, that's actually a good save. That didn't even feature. The 2 best saves that he put in, one was bang average and the other was routine. And I'm just thinking, why are they the ones that are highlighting?
Yeah, there's a couple of times, to be fair to you, where even you've gone, that was an amazing stop by Onana.
Oh, that one where I went, it's a goal. And then he just tipped it over.
Yeah. Did he make 2 or 3 in quick succession on that game as well? He did really
and I'm
well
thinking
that
to
day.
myself, why haven't they been put into the best saves whilst they've put 2 averages?
Because people who make the decisions haven't got a clue.
No.
They've
But it's
never
just-
been in that position.
It's just amazing how it's like
to do that.
they're putting saves in for keepers just because they play for the big teams. Oh, we've had to put 2 Becker ones in because of Liverpool. No, you don't. Put the best saves. If it's the top saves of the league, put them in. I mean, Pickford, they put 3 in for him, and they were all absolute class.
That's fair enough.
And then,
Although he's had a lot of practice this year.
yeah, but it's just, it makes me laugh when they do that, and then they put like, oh, these 2 play for big teams, so we should try to put some token saves in there. It's pathetic.
So,
I have to agree, to be
Well,
honest.
Yeah, I
It
felt
does feel
Onana
like that
got robbed
sometimes.
because he actually did make 1 or 2 saves that even I've got to say, phenomenal.
they're decent. So it
And they
looks
didn't even show.
like we're going 3 at the back. Trippier's come off and Cole Palmer's come on. I'm okay with
At
that.
least he's made 1 attacking sub. I think Kane needs to come off, and I think Bellingham needs to come off because I just don't think they've done.
And the other
anything.
thing I like was Declan Rice just got flattened a minute ago and he got straight back up.
He got smashed straight in the knee, didn't he? And he just laughed at the guy and went, "No, it's
No,
cool."
it's fine.
Grabbed his hand and got up and cut on with it. I quite like that as well.
I like that.
I've got something to say. I didn't realise Bellingham was still on the pitch.
No, I don't think the England players have either because they haven't given him the ball for a while.
When he said Bellingham needs to come off, I'm just like, is he on the pitch? He's just been so quiet. This is a player who's supposed to be up for the Ballon d'Or, and yet...
He won't be getting a Ballon d'Or.
Well,
He's
no, because
just
a lot
lost
goes
it.
on these sort of competitions, doesn't it? If it went on his performances for Real Madrid, he'd be up there. 'Cause
Well, I
he's
think
been
that's why he was
phenomenal for
leading the
Real Madrid.
polls. He was leading the polls.
Yeah,
because
because
of
he's
it.
been phenomenal. But
Well,
then
if
as soon as he's come
Argentina
into the
win Copa
Euros-
America, it's obviously going to be Messi, isn't it?
Yeah.
well, it's always messy anyway, isn't it? But
Yeah, but we've always got Bielsa to upset that one.
pain in the
Come on,
arse,
Uruguay.
But the pundit that I was on about was Karen Carney.
Oh God. The thing is, as well, she's about 3 foot tall.
Yeah.
So, and they put her in the middle of two guys that are like 6 foot.
Last
And
time
it's
I
sort
saw
of
it,
the camera
was-
goes up, and then it's got to go right down to Karen. And then
last
back up
time I
again.
saw
It's
it, she was
tiny.
in between
I know it's not her
Rio
fault, though, but-
Ferdinand and was it Paul Robinson? Oh, no,
both well over 6
sorry,
foot. Though.
it was yeah, it was Paul Robinson and Rio Ferdinand, and then you've got Karen right in the middle. It's just like
I'm sure that's the one I was on about. Actually,
it's just
it
absolutely
looked dreadful.
ludicrous.
But she's
It
all right.
looked dreadful.
I can listen to her.
You can listen to Karen Carney.
Yeah, I think she doesn't talk rubbish.
I don't mind what she says, just don't like the accent. But the information that comes out is fine.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
that accent is dreadful.
But I think this is the point, isn't it? It's like, I think we've just got to a stage now where it's like, if someone says an opinion, whether it be
Basically, if
valid
you
or
say
not.
something against a woman, you're a sexist.
Yeah.
If you say something, it happens to be a guy colour, you're a racist.
Absolutely.
And there's no like moral fibre been put behind your argument. You're just racist, or you're just sexist,
Yeah.
or you're just homophobic if it's somebody that's gay, and that's it. There's no like, well, we'll have a look into it. Oh no, he is actually a dickhead. So you're not homophobic. The guy's just an absolute melt.
Yeah.
There's none of that. It's just, is he gay? Is he gay?
I-
Yeah, he's
imme-
gay. He is.
immediate
But I
defence.
don't like him because you're a homophobe. Well, I haven't even given you the reason why I don't like him yet. It's because
Yeah.
you're homophobic.
No.
Yeah, it's not where I was going with it, but I mean, if that's what you're going to stick with, there's not really a fat lot I can do about it.
Yeah.
I'll just keep my opinions to myself then, eh?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're in a no-win situation.
I mean, he's really changed things up at the moment. Saka's on the left, Foden's on the right now. So Foden's still not in the centre.
Yeah, but
He's now on the
they're
other
making a
side.
lot more attacking moves now. Palmer's been swinging the ball in the box. Foden's swinging the ball in the box. Saka's swinging the ball in the box. So we're actually attacking now. I still don't think we'll get anywhere because we've still got Kane on and he's
They're
literally
poor
not really.
crosses.
He's not putting much effort into it anyway. He's just pushed them onto the floor because they're going to his way. Great stuff.
Probably
Yeah,
the best
this
crosser
just
of
not
the
exciting
ball
at
in
all.
the England squad at the moment is on the bench.
I'm glad we didn't do the full-on watch-along now because
Yeah.
that would have been, the least views we've ever had.
Yeah.
I think. And I would like to quickly mention, right, because we are nearing the 30-minute mark, although we can obviously go over if you need to, boys. I'd like to just point out that when we started the YouTube, as I said early on in this episode, we weren't expecting anything. So I'm not going to say we weren't expecting a lot because we weren't expecting anything at all. We put it up basically because my son wanted more video footage of me. We wanted to do a podcast because we wanted to get together and just have a chat. And now we get to turn around to our significant others and go, "I've got to love. Sorry, it's the podcast.
Yeah.
We've got to go." And so we've come up with a logo. We've had merch designed and all that just to make us feel a bit more important, but it makes us look a bit more important to the significant others. And when we've got all this stuff, we can then go, we've got to go and do the pod. So we literally just doing it for us. But I will say that we've now got 177 subscribers on YouTube,
That's good.
which for me, I think that's massive because I didn't think we'd hit 30. I'll be honest with you. So to hit 177, I'm actually really, really impressed with it. And so far as total views on YouTube, we're now on 109,500 views.
That's
It's
mental.
great stuff.
I mean, that's numbers I never thought we'd hit. Like, we could have been going 30 years. I don't think we'd have had 100,000 views.
We
Now,
could have gone 30
you
years. I didn't
watch-
think we'd have had 100.
I'm going to ask you your opinion on this transfer because I know that you like to watch the Arsenal ladies and stuff.
Boo. That's
So
my opinion on
obviously there's obviously a transfer and Mary Earps is leaving Man United to go to PSG.
it. Yeah.
So what do you think about that in terms of the Women's Premier League
And
and losing one of the biggest goalkeepers in the women's game
Yeah, I mean,
at the moment?
I heard for a while that we may have been up for being a part of that transfer and bringing her over to Arsenal, which I'd have been okay with, because I think Mary Earps is a decent goalkeeper, to be fair. But
I think her best seasons are way behind her.
possibly. But I mean,
I didn't.
I don't think it's good for the women's game, for the WSL, to be losing names.
When it's on growing.
Yeah, I think losing names is really bad. Like, Arsenal are getting rid of Vivian Miedemeier. Like, when we signed Vivian Miedemeier, like, she was scoring a goal a game, sometimes more, like, over the course of a season. The woman was just incredible, absolute goal machine. Hasn't played much of late, and now she's going on a free. I don't think that's a good thing either. I think the WSL are starting to lose names, and it's not helping. Well, it's not going to help, I don't think. I think we need to try and keep these names in the game to try and grow the women's game, because I am a fan of the women's game. I quite enjoy watching women's football. It's football, it's competitive, there's a lot less diving in it, I will say that. I mean, okay, some of the goalkeeping is a little behind the guys. It's more Onana than it is, Peter Schmeichel, but I don't think the women's game is a bad game of football to watch. I really enjoy it.
I think with women's football, obviously I'm actually quite invested in women's football from my coaching side. But the one thing I will say is the standard of women's football has skyrocketed over the last 7 years. From where we were 7 years ago, the ability, it's a nasty.
I didn't see that.
You will now.
But the ability, the tactics, the style.
Oh, it wasn't a foul then.
No.
Everything about it has improved exponentially.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's skyrocketed. Now, the problem you've got is, as we said before about the money, until, as David Dean said himself, until they take ownership of it. Oh, sorry, no, it was Simon Jordan said it. Until they take ownership of their own destiny and make their own deals, they're never going to go anywhere. Another thing that annoys me is comparing men's football to women's football.
Mm-hmm.
For me, just shouldn't happen. It's two separate sports. They're two separate entities.
Yeah.
I mean,
two different games.
Without being disrespectful,
Two different games.
you had the American women win the World Cup, bang on about how they should have equal pay, blah, blah, blah. And then they got spanked by a bunch of 14-year-old schoolboys.
Australians as well.
Yeah, right? 14-year-old schoolboys.
Yeah.
Obliterated them. Then you had recently that tournament where Wrexham took
over
their
35s. They're legends.
Yeah, they're legends. Only Windass was a player of notoriety. No one else in that team, anyone, had ever heard of. Most of them, semi-pros.
Mm-hmm.
Ex-American World Cup winners got smashed. It
Yeah.
started with the captain giving it the big un, gobbing off how they were going to do them, and
Yeah, I
got
saw that interview.
absolutely mullered.
Yeah, they got annihilated.
Now, that's not taking... I don't want to take away from what the women achieved, but I don't ever think men and women's game should cross. I don't think for one second...
I will say, firstly, you're treading a very fine line in today's society.
I do. I know.
Separating men and women. You're treading a very thin line there, because most men are women and most women are fucking men
To be
these
fair,
days.
it's going to end up being 3 games of football, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because you're going to have to have...
Because you're going to have men's
men,
games,
women, and
women's game,
confused.
and the
I don't know
mentally
what
ill
we are.
games.
Men, women confused.
You're going to have men, women, and mentally ill. And it's going to be like 3 separate World Cups for them all, isn't it?
Because as soon as a complete team of transgender, whatever they want to be called, go into the women's game and decimate all the records and win everything, that's their records gone.
Didn't Iran try a tournament?
That
and they
swimmer
had
started
7?
it all. Is it Leah Thomas? That's what.
Yeah.
That's what he wants to be called now.
Yeah, but he's had everything stripped from him.
Yeah. Now, but Leah Thomas, like, he joined the women's game. Is swimming a game? I don't know what swimming is. Sport. He joined the women's sport. Absolutely annihilated everybody. But apparently he'd already tried for the men's Olympics and wasn't good enough.
He wasn't even in the top 200.
No, nowhere near. And then goes over to the women and destroys. But then what does it for me is when they interviewed Williams, Serena, And they said, well, why don't you fancy playing Andy Murray? And she went, I'd be lucky to get a point off him. And that's only if he got bored after absolutely smashing me in the first few sets. She's like, it's not even the same sport.
She said,
she went, it is not the same thing.
Her exact comment was, I would be lucky to get 1 set in 100.
That was the one.
Yeah.
She said, it's not even the same thing. You're asking me to play a sport I've never played. It's something I've never done.
And this is why...
So it's ridiculous.
It annoys me when you get men commenting about women's football, comparing it to the men's game. You shouldn't even look at it as the same entity.
It's a different sport. And that's why, because I went to watch women's football and view it as a different thing, it's its own football.
Brilliant. It's brilliant.
And I've really enjoyed it. I have really enjoyed it. And I take my lads to go and watch the women's game. You know, we've been to the Emirates to watch the women, and we've been to Milton Keynes when there was a final down there, and I've been to all these places to watch women. I quite enjoy it.
I love it.
I quite enjoy watching women's football.
It's great, but again, you've got to separate it. And on the whole Mary Earps thing, I don't think losing is a bad thing. I don't.
I think losing the name is bad.
You know what? I'm going to go
because
with
she's
no.
a massive name in women's football. And I don't think them leaving England is a good thing for the WSL.
But here's the problem. There's a sell-by date on anything, including players. Right?
Of course there is.
Her sell-by date is gone. Her sell-by date was pre-last season.
Possibly, but she's still the name.
She's literally England #1 goalkeeper by name only.
Because I think the Man City keepers...
She is class.
Yeah.
She's decent.
She's class.
She's decent.
And the thing is, I get what you're saying about the name, but that doesn't matter because as long as you've got her holding up a space just for legacy purposes, you're stopping better players. We need these better players to come through.
And if these players come through and they prove to be even as good, not even better, if they prove to be as good, then that's something.
Yeah. And that's it. So for me, Earps going to PSG, great thing. She gets to retire on a nice, handsome wage, which is what she deserves. But it's time to step aside. The new queen is here. She plays for Man City.
She is decent, to be fair. So, right, I think what we're going to do is we're on 40 now, so I think we'll wrap it up for this week. And we shall probably depress ourselves by watching the last 11 minutes or so of this game, which has been absolutely shocking. England's still losing 1-0, which is why you haven't really heard us comment too much about it. So, we love you very much, and thank you very much for joining us. And we shall see you lovely people next week.